First off, JT, I know it's a big accomplishment to win a playoff game in your first year, but for the Centurions as a program, as I mentioned, it had been more than a decade. What did that moment feel like, and what was the celebration like for you, for the players, and even for some alumni, I would assume?
It was great. To get the win and with I'm not saying there was a lot of pressure, but you do feel that, when um, people are excited about it. We made the playoffs and then have opportunity to play in that game. I was feeling pressure, honestly, and I think we played that way a little bit, even with the kids, where you try to keep them composed and, especially with a familiar opponent. And we played a little bit tight, but at the end of the day, we're able to make enough plays to win the game. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me and congratulating me and us as a team and the coaching staff. And it's nice, it's awesome, but we're not done. We're still looking forward to obviously a huge challenge this week.
41-22, the final score against West Green. And typically the 8-9 matchup, you figure is going to be one of the most evenly pitted, but your team was able to jump out to a 4-score lead. How important was that to be able to play from ahead in the game?
Very important. I knew it was going to be a different type of game, heading into it, but the turnovers that we were able to cause the first game that we played them. And then, again, our big play offense showed up, this game. And defensively, we didn't give up a lot of points, gave up a lot of yards, but, I guess that's at the end of the day, it's what matters is, the score on the scoreboard. So, but yeah, it was, I forgot what you asked me, man.
It was about playing from ahead, and you mentioned you
Playing
gave
from
up some
ahead.
yards, but I guess that's kind of a luxury you're afforded when you have a 27-0 lead like you did.
Yeah. Yeah. That helps. It helps. It, helps kind of take the pressure off, but at the same time, defensively, you still got to get your stops when you're playing from ahead.
Well, I would imagine at this point of the year, there's not a whole lot of secrets that Tyree Turner and Samir Crosby are your two go-to guys, but they continue to put up big numbers and make big plays and score touchdowns. They did that, of course, against the Pioneers. How do they keep doing this, knowing that the game plan of every opposition is to try to slow them down?
They just keep doing it. They keep making those plays, and then we'll sprinkle in one, here or there. Like Aiden Allison had a big 79-yard touchdown reception, which is a huge play for us. And they are football players, those kids, and they're smart and they are elusive. So the talent takes over at that point when, they're loading up the box on, it sounds weird, but against Tyree in the quarterback run game, or, then they do that and we're able to throw the ball down the field and hit Samir on some big plays. So, and also some other receivers that, that, like I said, with Aiden, Landon Honick out there, Evan Stasco. So we've got guys that can catch the ball and make plays out there as well. But, when number 12 gets the ball in his hands, pretty special himself. So
I know at this point of the year, no team is truly 100%, but you've been battling with, injuries and a small roster all along. Now, 3 months into the season, how is everyone holding up? And do you feel like you still are in a good spot in terms of the depth, knowing that you had a small roster to start the season with?
yeah, we're holding in there. We're hanging in there. They're getting their treatments. They're taking, trying to take care of their bodies as best as possible. We're still missing, um, yeah, that depth, I guess you could say, because of some of those injuries. But and bumps and bruises, and it's being smart is trying to be as a coaching staff to limit the what we're doing in practice, but still being efficient and effective to our game plans and what we need to do to win the game.
Well, you're going to have to probably play pretty close to perfect to win this next game. You're going against the number 1 seed in the bracket, that being South Side or South Side Beaver, South Side area, whatever they go by. It's a few different names, but one thing that we do know is that they're very, very good. They're 11-0 this season. So when you pop in the film, what's the first thing that jumps out?
They play fast. They're very just looking at their offense to start. You could tell they've been running this style of offense for a long time, and they're good at it. They are, they play hard, they play fast, they run the ball, and they run the ball well. And they're patient with what they do, and their offensive line, is they don't look like the biggest kids in the world, but they're good. They come off the ball and they'll get into you. And the running backs are good. I have three or four different kids that can run the football, and defensively, they're fast as well, and they're pretty simple with what they do, but they're good at it. And like I said, across the board, they're starting 11, whoever they put on the field are comfortable and confident in their schemes and execute it pretty well.
Well, looking at their record and their schedule at this point, it seems like just about every single week in the regular season, they're giving up 6 or 7 points. And then they get a shutout for the first time last week against Monessen, a Monessen team that's got some pretty explosive players. What challenges does that defense present, and what do you have to do on the other side to have success against it?
Yeah, that's one thing. We, on Saturday morning, we looked at the stats. I'm like, geez, man, they're only giving up 6-7 points a game. And obviously concerning to, us, and our offensive staff, who, got to give them props to Aaron Detweiler, Zach Cooper, Kirk McMullen, those guys, Sergio Bell, that have been doing an awesome job on our offensive side of the ball, putting game plans together to try to, take advantages of weaknesses or attack weaknesses that defensive that they show us. I've got to take I've been concentrating on the offense so far the last couple nights and days, so I got to take a look at their defense. I did take a peek at it, and like I said, with what jumped off the screen for me earlier, it is the speed and physicalness that they play with. So we got to try to find something that will work to help put points on the board.
I know you said that they like to run the football, and the statistics bear that out, but their quarterback, Brody Almashi's thrown for about 800 yards. Also, he's a running threat. He's scored over a dozen touchdowns. Is it fair to say that their passing game is enough of a threat that you can't ignore it and just load up to try to stop the run? And what will be key on the defensive side for your squad?
Discipline. Yeah, no question. I mean, it was the same with West Green last week. I mean, they were the same, I guess, type of philosophy. They want to run the ball, and then they'll hit you every once in a while with a pass downfield, and that's the same thing South Side will do. And so it's that mentality of discipline that we need to keep, in doing our jobs up front with our front 7 or 8, and our back 3 or 4, that we put back to defend the pass, and then be extra hitters in the run. So that's going to be my biggest message this week, is that, is playing physical, playing disciplined, and understanding and doing our jobs, so that, we can get that settled in and comfortable with what they're seeing and what we're going to try to run. We'll give ourselves a chance.
Lastly, I mentioned before, is the first time in more than a decade that GCC claimed a playoff victory. So some of these players were, barely beyond toddler age when GCC last won a playoff game. Now you have that, I would assume, confidence that has continued to grow after a game like that. Where's the team's mindset, and how do you approach heading to play a number 1 team in Southside in a neutral site in Peters Township that's a bit of a hike for you?
I'll tell you on Friday. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them yet today. So, on Saturday it was, they came in and they knew we could have played better. When you asked earlier about, the excitement and everything. And it was a weird vibe after the game. Like, we're happy we won, but the guys knew we could have played better, and we could have, because we did leave some things out on the field, both sides of the ball, and on special teams. But yeah, it's going to be, our team meeting this afternoon, where we, introduce, Southside to them. And I'm sure they've been watching some film already this weekend. So they should be excited. They should be, confident in their abilities and what we've been able to do and accomplish so far this year. But we're not done, like I said, and why not us? Why not? And that's going to be the theme, I think, going into it this week, with the guys.
Well, JT, thanks so much for doing this again. Congrats on the playoff win. I know that is a big, big deal for Greensburg Central Catholic, and hopefully keep it going against Southside as well.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.